Hello, welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be talking about assembly and then drawing, but we will start with assembly first. So this is what I'm going to use. This is the example that I'm going to start with. More like a hatch, a hinge, and then we'll be making screws. Okay. Later, we'll be using the exploded view to make an explosion and then a collapse. All right. So we'll be starting from here. So my SolidWorks is already opened. I'll go to File, New, Parts. Okay. So I have my part window, and then we will start from any part that we want. But I'd like us to start from the hatch, which is the board. So let's start from the board. Or let's start from the hinge. Okay, so the hinge. And this is the hinge. Alright. So parts. We start from the front view. So click on the front view from the features manager. Click on sketch. Click on line. And then start from the center of the origin. Drag and move to the left hand side to create a horizontal normal line. Release it. Now we will have to create an arc. Okay, you can see from here they created an arc. So this arc is a tangent arc. So we'll go to the arcs, click on the drop down menu, select tangent arc, and make sure you are selecting tangent arc. So start from this point, drag it here, something like this. Release by right clicking and then clicking on select. So you have this already, just like this. Okay, now you have to dimension it. The radius here is 0.5, and then this dimension or the length is 2. So click on smart dimension, click here, drag it down, and then type in 2. Come here, click on the circumference, radius comes, type in 0.5. Good, you have 0.5 and then the 2. Now let's move on. So we'll be creating an extruded boss from this sketch. Okay, this is the sketch that we have already dimensioned it. We'll be creating an extruded boss from this, but you can realize that this sketch is an open sketch and it's not a closed sketch, so you cannot use the normal extruded boss. We'll be using the thin feature, but first we need to add a relation for this arc, this tangent arc. So okay, so click on the center point. This is the center point of the tangent arc, so you click here and then hold control and then click on the end like this, then add a horizontal relation. So you get a horizontal relation like this. If you want to see it, you click on the origin, click on normal to. So you can see that now it has been aligned. This point and then this point has been aligned in a horizontal line. Okay, good. So this is what I'm talking about. This is a horizontal relation. All right. So you can always go back and check how I did it. So now we can click on extruded boss, features, extruded boss. Now you can see that this, because this sketch is an open sketch, the thin feature has already been selected. Okay, so it has already been selected, and then we will extrude. Let me check the extrusion length. Okay, we will extrude by 4 inches, and then the thin feature thickness should be 0.25. So blind, delete, make it 4. Good, and then you come here. It should be 0.25. Good. You can see the thickness has changed. 0.25. So the thickness changed. Good. So now, one thing you need to know is that you can always reverse this direction and check what will happen if I click on this reverse direction. You can see what happens. Good. Good. So from this right up, your direction should be this way. It should be applied to the external part of the hinge, just like this, and not the opposite way like this. You get me? For this, you can see that it has been applied to the inner part, so it should be applied to the outside part. That radius should be applied to the external part like this. All right, it shouldn't be this way, making the radius move inside. It should be this way. All right, good. So 0.25 and then 4. Now click on the check mark. Now click on the check mark. Okay, now you have your hinge like this. Okay, good. So the only thing left now is to create holes and then also to make a cut. these cuts, these two cuts. So we'll be using the linear pattern to also make a cut. To you will make a cut and then you pattern it, right? So click on this face, sketch, and what you have to do is that we are going to create a corner rectangle. Start from this corner, draw a 1-inch square. Good. Don't worry about the dimension. Go to smart dimension, then dimension it. This is 1, and then this side is also 1. So you'll be getting something like this. Click on the check mark and then go to features. Go to features, click on extruded cuts, and then we are going to select true or and then both. Not true or both. Just like this, and you can see the preview. Now click on the check mark and then you have this cut, right? How do we get the same cut to the left hand side of that? Okay, so we are going to select the cut extrude one, go to features, then we are going to go to linear pattern. So click on linear pattern. Direction 1, we want it to move toward this side where I'm moving my cursor to. So select any horizontal edge like this, and then you can see that the direction is moving to this side. So you can reverse the direction by clicking on this reverse direction, and you can see the direction has been reversed. Now the distance is about, I think, 4. Sorry, this is the instances. So instances is 2, inches is 2. So 2, and you get something like this. It has been moved, and then the distance is what? 2. That's the spacing between the linear pattern. Now you can click on the check mark to apply your linear pattern, and then you'll be having something like this. So we are done with this, right? Good. We are left with the holes. We are going to create holes like this. Okay, we will create just one hole and then we will linear pattern it to get 4 holes like this. Good. So click on this face. Sorry, do not click on the face. Just rotate it this way. Go to features, click on hole wizard. Good. We will be using this hole, or let me check the hole that they used. Let me check the hole. Countersink. Okay, we're using countersink. So the second one is called the countersink, and then the size is 10. They use 10. Good. Come here. Do not choose blind. You want to cut through all, so select through all. Good. Now go to positions. Then select the face that you want to apply the whole wizard to. Select this face. It becomes normal too. Now put the hole here somewhere around this place. Don't worry about the dimensioning. You will dimension and show the position very well using a smart dimension. So place the hole, click on smart dimension. Do not click on the check mark. Click on smart dimension. So let's check the dimension from this place. You can see that this is 1 and this is 0.3. So the distance from this point to this point is 0.3, and then the distance from this point to this point is what? 1. So click on the center point like this, and then click on this edge, move it to here, and then click, sorry, I didn't check, 1, right? So 1, that's the distance. Good. Now click on smart dimension, click on this point, and then this point, okay, this point here, and then you can see that you can move it to the top, and then that is 0.3. So type in 0.3, and then you have your whole dimension. Good. So you can see that your sketch is fully dimensioned. So you can click on this check mark to apply your hole. So you have one hole, and then you have to linear pattern it to get a hole here, and then another hole here. So click on the screw is a hole, CSK, countersink. Click on it from the feature manager. Go to features, and then click on linear pattern. Okay, direction 1, we want it to move here. So click on this edge, any horizontal edge. The direction has been reversed, so click on this to reverse it back here, and then the distance is 0.9. Good, you can see that the preview has appeared here. So this is the instances, that's the number of holes. So if I choose 3 here, you can see that the number of linear pattern holes have changed to 3, but we want just 2, so 2. And then this is the distance between the what holes. Now come to direction 2. select direction 2. Now we want it to move this way, downward side. So you click on this edge, any vertical edge, and then by default, the number of counts here is already 1. So we have to make it 2. Good. You can see the direction is moving upwards. So reverse the direction to move downwards. And then the instances, the spacing is 2. So click on 2. Then you can see the preview. So this is the full preview, and this is how we want the host to be, right? This is how we want the host to be. So click on the check mark to apply your whole wizard, and you'll be having the hinge. Good. So we are done with this. Click on file and then save it. I'll save it as I'll go to downloads. So I've already created a folder for this. So I made it assembly and I created some parts, but we are recreating the parts. So let me create a new folder and then click on new assembly. Okay, I'm creating a new folder. So I'll be saving my part here. So I'll change the file name to hinge, and that's a hinge. So save, and then we are done. Let's create the board. Okay, this board. So go to file, new part. Okay, so go to the front face and then front plane and then click on sketch. You are going to create a 16 by 16 inch square. So click on center rectangle, start from the origin. Good. Features, sketch, smart dimension, 16 inches by 16 inches. Good. Now click on features, extrude. The extrusion length is what? 2.5. So you extrude by 2.5. Blind and then 2.5. Good. Click on the check mark. Good. So now we have to create another box like this at the center of the face. So click on this face, click on sketch, click on center rectangle, start from the origin and then make something like this. Now you smart dimension it. The dimensioning, let's check. Okay, what is the dimension? Um, okay, it's a 1 inch by 1 inch. No, a 10 inch by 10 inch, but the extrusion length is 1 inch. So we go to smart dimension, click here, select 10. This is 10. Now click on the check mark, go to features, extruded boss, and then we are extruding by just 1 inches. So click on 1 inch. Make sure merge result is selected. Merge result is selected. Click on the check mark, and you have this board already, and that's good. You can change the material, which I'll show you later. Let's focus on just creating the part and then making the assembly for now. So we'll click on file, save, locate the folder. I've already saved one file there, so it originally and then automatically open the new assembly. So I'll change the name to hatch. So this is a hatch. Click on save. All right, so we have our hinge and we have our hatch. We can now create an assembly, but we'll be using screws. So let's just create the screws too. Let's make the screw. So let's model the screw. Go to file, sorry. Go to file, new, and then new part. Okay. So for the screw, let's start from the front plane. Yeah, front top plane rather. Top. Sketch. Click on a circle and then make any circle like this. Go to features, no sketch, smart dimension. And let me check the dimension from the textbook. The dimension of the screw. Okay, I'm coming. The dimension is 0.190. That's the diameter, 0.190. And then the extrusion length is 1. So click on smart dimension, come to the circumference, and then type 0.190. Click on the check mark, go to features, extruded boss, and then the extrusion length is 1 inches. So 1. Click on the check mark. And you should have something like this. Okay. you should have something like this. Now you have to create this thing like this, and then the bottom like this to make it look like a screw. So move to the front plane and then click on sketch to make it normal too. Make a vertical center line. So click on line, choose center line, start from the origin, move upward like this. Good. Right click and then select. Now you are going to move okay. Come in. I'm trying to show you what we are going to make so that you wouldn't be confused. So we are going to make something like this. We are going to make a shape like this, okay? A shape like this with three lines. So click on line, start from somewhere like this, back, line, start from this part, move here, continue here, and then end here. So you have a close sketch like this, right? Now let's dimension it. So we go to smart dimension. We want the angle to be 41. The angle is 41. You can see from here the angle is 41. So click on smart dimension, click on this line, drag and click on this. Make sure you're not clicking on any point, and then type in 41, and that will be the angle. Now we have another dimension, which is this. For this, you click on smart dimension, click on this point here, the end point, and then click on the center line. Make sure you are clicking on the center line, and then you type in 0.365, 0.365. So you see that the sketch is fully defined, and then we can create the revolve boss. So go to features, go to revolve boss. Good, you can see the preview because the axis of revolution has already been selected. The axis of revolution here is now the vertical center line. Okay, so click on the check mark. Good, and you have something like this. Now let's come to the bottom. So click on the top plane again to sketch. No, front plane and then sketch. Front plane and then sketch. Good. So we are going to make a similar shape, but this time it's going to be like this. Okay, so make a center line again, start from the origin, move upward like this, select, click on line, this time a normal line, and then make a shape like what I'm making now, something like this. Make sure you are snapping it to that edge, move and end it here. Okay, let's dimension it. The dimension here is 0.025 and the angle is 30 degrees. So we'll go to smart dimension, 0.025, 0.025. Good. And then click on smart dimension again. Click on this diagonal line. Click on the vertical and then type in 30 degrees. So you have a shape like this, and then your sketch is fully defined. Go to features. This time you want to cut. So we go to revolve cut. Good. The axis of revolution has already been selected. That is a vertical center line. Click on the check mark and then you have a shape like this. Right? You can add a cut here, just like the cut they added a cut here at the topward side of the screw. So you can click on this face, click on sketch, just make a center rectangle like this. I wouldn't waste time dimensioning it. So let's go to features and we are going to cut. Go to extruded cut, and this time let me pull it up. You can use this to pull it up. So I made it 0.06. Let me make it 0.05. 0.05. Good. Click on the check mark to apply your cut and you have something like this. Go to file and then save it as your screw. Make sure you are saving everything in one folder. Okay, make sure you are saving everything in one folder. Now save. So we are now ready to create our assembly. Go to file, new, and this time we are not selecting part. Select assembly and then click on OK. So the assembly window will open. You can see that the assembly window is different from the part, the window for the part, as I already said in the previous videos. Okay, so with this, When you check your left hand side, you can see that there's a pop-up that appears, and with this I already have all the parts that I've created. This is because automatically I started from square one and then I got here. Okay, so I have the parts here, but mistakenly, let's say you open the assembly and you didn't get a window like this. Okay, so let me click here. You already had a window like this, so we'll go to file. No, insert components. We want to insert the components one by one, but this time we want the base to be the hatch. Okay, we want the base or the main board or the main part to be the hatch. So we go to insert components, then the window appears. If you don't get these parts there, you can go to browse and then go to the folder, and then you can select the hatch. Okay, and then click on open. So you have the hatch here, place it here. Good. Insert the other component. So let's select insert components and then click on the hinge. Right, place it here. Okay, let's mate these two things before we add our screw. So now we want to rotate it. Okay, to make your rotation easier, just click on the hinge, right click, and then come here, select move it. Tried. Good. Now you can see that you can now rotate, you can now move. You can use the arrow to move, and then you can use the curve to rotate. So let's rotate it this way. Good. Good. Move it this way, and then click on any empty space. Good. So you have your hinge in this view. Now rotate it to make it look like this, so that you can select the bottom part, because we are going to mate the bottom part of the hinge to the top side of our hatch. So select mate from the assembly. Now mate selections. Click on this face and then click on the top side of the hatch. So you can see that the hatch pulled the hinge to its face because the coincident has already been selected. We are going to use coincident, but in case the coincident wasn't selected, you can just click on coincident and then to put it down. Click on the check mark. You can add other mates or relations. So we want to add another coincident relation, because we can see that here it is underdefined because you haven't added all the necessary mates. So click on this face, and then click on coincident, the check mark. Good. It's still underdefined. It's left with one thing to do. Okay, let me move this face so that I'll show you what I'm about to do. Click on move tried. Let me move it this way. Okay, good. Rotate it this way. Now we are going to select this edge and then this edge. So go to mate, select this edge, make sure the edge is selected. You see it from the features manager, and then select either this edge. Okay, and then select distance. This time we are not going to use coincident. We want to indicate the distance of separation between that edge and then the other edge. So click on this thing. This is called distance, and then type in 1 inch. We want the distance of separation to be 1. Click on this check mark. Click on this check mark. Our sketch is fully defined. So now we need to add holes to the hatch, because we will be adding screws. Okay. We will be adding screws. So let's add holes to this hatch. Click on this face and then click on sketch. Okay. Now click on this point. This is called a point. Go to sketch and click on point. Move your mouse pointer to the center of the holes, and then click here. Click on this center. Click here and then click here to place points here. Click on a check mark. To see the point very well, we will have to hide this thing, the hinge. So let's end the sketch. Come to the features manager, right click on the hinge and then click on hide components. So we have hidden the hinge. Okay, so now we are supposed to make holes at this point. We are going to make holes here. We have the points created like this, and we have our hinge hidden. So now let's create a hole. Go to assembly and click on assembly features. Click on the drop down menu and then select hole wizard. Come here. This time we are going to use a hole. So the third one is called a hole. Click on the hole. The size was 7/64. If it hasn't been selected, just click on it and select 7/64. And then this time the end condition, do not make it true or make it blind, and then type in 0.75. Okay, 0.75. And then click on positions, click on the face you want to place the holes, and then place the hole at the 4 points that we originally created. So a hole here, another hole here, a hole here, and then the last one here. Click on the check mark to place the holes, and then we'll be having something like this, right? Good. So you have to do the same thing for the other side. You have to do the same thing from the other side. Because of time, I'm just working with just one side, okay? You have to do the same thing for the other side, but I'll be working with just one side because of time. So this way, we have our holes already. Now we can show our hinge. Click on the hinge from the features manager and then click on show components. So we have our hinge back, and then this time we have our holes created already. Let's place our screw now. Our screw. So go to insert components and then bring the screw here, place it somewhere around this place. Now let's add the relation. You can realize that there was a break in the video. I made a mistake with the size of the was it the screw or the hole? The size of the, let me check. I made a mistake with one of the sizes. It was the size of the hole for the hinge. Okay, I didn't choose flat head screw 82. Mine was flat head screw 100. So the mate wasn't working. So let me show you what I did. Let me open the hinge. So this is a hinge. I came back to the cut or the hole. So that was countersink. So I click on the countersink, edit feature. And I realized that from here, the type was flat head screw 100 like this. But what I was supposed to select was 82. So it was giving me issues. So yes, I made it 82 and then I came back and then it was working now. So let me show you. After having it in this position, just come to mates, click on the conical face of the screw, this conical face. Make sure you are clicking on the conical face and not any other line or face. So this conical face, you see it here at the features tab. So also click on this conical face. Good. And then select coincidence. Okay, select coincident as the mate type and then click on the check mark. So you should have something like this. Just place one screw here. Okay, since we are supposed to place the screws here and then here too, we'll just use another property or feature known as the um pattern driven component pattern. It's more like using the linear pattern for the part modeling. Okay, so you come to assembly, click on the drop down menu here, select pattern driven component. Okay, so the components to pattern, you have to select the screw. These are the components that we want to pattern, so select the screw. Good. And then come here and click on driven feature or component. You have to select one of the holes. Make sure you are selecting the hole. You see something like this. Okay, select the hole, select the hole and not the screw, delete the hole. So you see a preview like this. This is the hole. You see the length. Okay, that is the hole and not this one, the hole. So you can rotate the view to make sure you are selecting the hole and not any other thing. So select the hole as a driven feature and you can see that automatically the preview has appeared. So this is how it's going to appear. So click on check mark and you have your holes in all the other three. What, you have your screw in all the other three holes. So that's it. As I said, I'm only dealing with just one part. You can do same for the other part. Okay, so you have something like this. Good. You should have something like this. Good. So now we are done creating our assembly. We are done creating our assembly. So this is a door with a hinge and a screw. Okay. A hatch with a hinge and a screw. Let's make an exploded view. Go to assembly, click on exploded view, and then here you can see exploded steps. Step 1 is already indicated here. So you are with step 1, we are going to select all the screws here, all the 4 screws. So select them one by one individually. So 1, click on this one, this, and then this. So we have all the screws selected and you can see them here listed here. Okay, so now let's move it up. Let me say I wanted to move it up. Good. And I want the distance to be 4, so come here and then change it to 4. Good. So the distance of separation is 4. Now click on done. Do not click on the check mark. Click on done because we have to add another exploded view. So click on this and then you can see that this is exploded view 2, step 2. So this is the step 1 and this is step 2. So after creating step 1, click on done and not the check mark. Click on done and then click on the other component that you want to add the exploded view to. So we will click on the hinge and pull it up. Type in the distance. Let's make it 2. Good. Now click on done. We want the base to remain at its original position, so we will not add any exploded view to this. So now click on the check mark. So in case we had the other hinge to the right hand side, you have to do the same thing. So with the exploded step 1, you select all the 8 screws, and in the exploded step 2, it should be both hinges. Okay, you can select them individually. You can make 4 exploded views or steps. You can select the left hand side and do it, and then go to the right hand side and do it. Okay, you can also add them to make it just 2 steps. Okay, so this I'm working with just one hinge and then one just 4 screws. So now we are done. Click on the check mark. Okay, so we have it in an exploded position like this. Good. If you want to collapse it, just go to the features manager, right click on the assembly and then select on collapse. So we have it like this. You can right click and then click on explode. You have it like this. If you want it to be in an animation form, just right click and then select on animate collapse. Okay, just right click and then click on animate collapse, and then you can see that the animation is playing. You can see it from here. Right click on animate explode, and you can see that the explosion is happening. Good. That's how to create an exploded view. That's how to create an exploded view. So you can save your, let's save it. This is the save button, so click on save animation. This window will appear. Saving, that folder is already selected. File name assembly2. Save the type as Microsoft video file, mp4 video file. So select mp4 video file and then click on save. So the explosion will play and then it will save it. Okay, so let it finish. Good. It is done. So you can go to your folder location. Let's go to file, downloads, new assembly, and you can see the video here, assembly 2. You can play it. So this is the assembly. Good. This is the exploded view that we created. This is the exploded view that we created. Okay, good. You can make it a collapse view too. So you can just go to assembly and then click on animate collapse, and then after it's done, just click on the save button. So wait for it to be done before clicking on the save button. Okay, so that's how to create an exploded view with the lines, sketch lines. Let me show you. Let's go to explode. With the sketch lines, they are only used to show the direction of movement. Okay, so let's go to assembly, go to the exploded view, but this time click on the drop down menu and select explode line sketch. So items to connect, you are connecting them to show that where this move through this line. Okay, so select this conical face of the screw Select the corresponding hole of the hatch. Make sure you are selecting the hole. Hole. And you see a line like this. Click on check mark. Select this. Click on the corresponding hole and click on a check mark. Click on this. Click on the corresponding hole. Click on a check mark. And then do same for the last one too. Here, here, check mark. Now you are done. You can just click on animate and then click on animate collapse and then it will follow the line. Okay, so that's how to create an assembly and how to create an exploded view. All right, good. Thank you. Assembly collapse. Okay, so this is our exploded view. This is our exploded view. I'll be talking about the bill of materials and then the drawing, I mean the layout, in the next video. Okay.